Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Get my mic up. This is a good mic. What's up, Sujan? We got Trump's announcement coming out very shortly. People are just calling it like an announcement, like they do for a lot of Trump speeches, but this is supposed to center around a drug price agreement that Trump reached with Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly around the weight loss drugs. So I guess some agreement's been reached where they're going to lower the costs of like Ozempic and those other weight loss type drugs. Man, why does this mic stand like slide towards me? Let me see, can I tighten this somehow? I don't know if I'm loosening it or tightening it, but alright, now it's not moving. Yeah, it's still like, whatever. What the hell? Come on, stay put. What's going on? The mic, it moves on its own. It's slowly moving closer to me. Maybe it wants my audio louder. Alright, just stay steady there. Come on. I gotta put something here to like block it. There we go. There we go. Now this mic can't move anywhere. But yeah, Trump speaking in a few minutes. I have the video up here. This is coming from the AP. He should be live in like a few minutes. You can never tell with Trump. But this is supposed to center around reaching a deal with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk on drug prices. I do not have any big positions here. This is a newer one. I mean, what I'm looking at to get data on this is Trump has had a few speeches already now relating to drug prices. So in the last few months, he had, an agreement on a prescription drug discount on October 10th. Announced a Pfizer drug pricing deal on September 29th. And back in May, he had just an event on drug prices in general. So I'm focused on those three events because I think they'll be pretty correlated to what we'll expect here. You can see my biggest position right now is Trump RX. That's just, I had a bunch of limit orders set up, so it's just random that this was the one I was able to get filled on. We got in at 83. He mentioned Trump RX twice in his last drug speech, and from what I've read on this specific announcement, the whole point of this agreement is that they're going to be listed on Trump RX. So I think it's a given that we're going to see Trump RX mentioned. Obviously, the company also holds his name. So I definitely like the odds there. I love Eli Lilly. I tried to get in here at like 85. I mean, if I could put 5K on this, I would. I think Eli Lilly is an absolute bond. Novo Nordisk is probably a bond as well, but I'm a little less, willing to buy some really high priced yeses on Novo Nordisk because it's a little bit of a longer name to say. And Eli Lilly is a little more like Trump has used Eli Lilly when talking about drugs, even when it didn't relate to Eli Lilly. So the announcement today is a partnership or some type of deal with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk. I mean, I think he'll say both names in all of his last three speeches. Anytime it's related to an actual like deal with a drug company, he's always dropping their names. So I think, as boring as it is picking these up at like Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk at 83, 85, I mean, I think that's still undervalued. I think these should be closer to 95. I'm not touching Novo Nordisk. Like I said, it's a little bit of a more complicated word. So I would just load up on Eli Lilly personally. He even mentions Eli Lilly when he's, not explicitly talking about them. So, let me push this to 86. Still hasn't come out yet. Still delayed. It's now 40 minutes late. So this is definitely later than we would have expected. Look at me looking in the ideas section as if I'm going to find anything useful there. I really like Trillion, so, I am accumulating some here. I'll potentially buy this up to 75. I have a limit set at 70. If I can keep getting filled, I'll do this. In his last 3, it's kind of an odd strike, right? You would think, why is this even a strike? What's up, Dustin? Holy shit. What is that in relation to? But Trillion, in his last 3 drug price meetings, he mentioned it 9 times. Last speech on a new prescription drug discount speech. He mentioned it 4 times on his announcement with Pfizer. Mentioned it 6 times on his event on drug prices. So he just kind of is always dropping Trillion. So I definitely like the strike just being Trump. What's up, Neo? China, no. Let me think. I kind of don't mind China, no. He brought it up last time when they were in the whole tariff discussion with China, and that's kind of fallen out a little bit of talking points. So I think if China does come up, it's gonna be something related to Q&A. But Sujan says he's definitely gonna say China for sure. So I don't know, Sujan. Neo asks, I'm new to this prediction market stuff. Is there a significant edge to these markets? What's your background, Neo? Like, do you come from crypto? Do you come from poker? I will say, like, there is 100% a significant edge to these markets that you can have. You see what I got filled at? Let me see. But yeah, Neo, there's definitely significant edges to these markets. I've personally made now, what am I up to now? About $61,000. I trade a lot of mentioned markets. I also trade other things. But I am having a special guest on, Neo, tonight, who literally just started trading on Kalshi like a month ago and has ran up $1K to $30,000, which is kind of insane on mentioned markets. And he's actually a college student. He's 21, But I mean, it's just such an interesting story, and like I love seeing new users just like kill it. So if you guys are new to prediction markets, I think tonight's stream with Esoteric Catboy is going to be pretty legendary. It's just such a cool story. I mean, the guy just started a month ago and is 30x his portfolio. It's like I'm so bullish on this guy that he's gonna just go crazy. And I mean, you can even see like his sizings of his trades are like getting bigger and bigger, which I think people typically struggle with when you grow your portfolio. But he appears to not be struggling. Like he's sizing up like 5K on a mention, which I agree with. Like my point is, if you have an edge and you're profitable long term, I think most people undersize. Sometimes you're limited, frequently by liquidity. So like it's not always just a matter of like, but he's been sizing up, like throwing like thousands on mentions lately. How do I determine how much money to put in a trade? I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do it. If I were to be like super quantitative or say like give some type of rule to use, I always will say use like Kelly criterion, and more specifically for me, I use like quarter Kelly criterion, but I'm not using that like as a fixed like guide. I just use it as a guide. I mean, you have to realize like emotions are a thing. So you also have to factor in your emotions. Can you take a loss? We had like the Fed rate decision last week, and then we had, or was that 2 weeks ago? I can't even remember what time anymore. And then we had like New York City mayoral race. I sized up, had about close to $20,000 on the race for the NYC mayor and all the other races towards the end of the night. Like, would I be comfortable if I just lost 20,000 in a night? Probably not. But should I be sizing up like that on some high conviction plays, especially if they're very high probability? Yeah, I definitely should. So it's just a balancing act. You got to balance your emotions. Conserving your portfolio is like most important. But I just think if you're a profitable trader, especially on prediction markets over a long run, the most frequent thing I see is people sizing up too small on their trades. So you can have some unbelievable edges on prediction markets, but you're going to be limited by liquidity. So, if you're not losing occasionally, like you're not taking some losses, if your portfolio just looks like this, it probably means you're not taking enough risks, at the end of the day. And you'll probably have a higher gross return if you increase your risk tolerance, risk threshold, make more trades, higher sizing on your trades. But again, I mean, at the end of the day, this only is going to apply to like a small portion of people, because most people aren't going to be profitable, whenever trading. So that's only if you're profitable. Focus on just being profitable. Like this shows nothing. Oh, we got some Eli Lilly. All right, well, we got a little bit of size. Oh, you can't see my screen? Wait, what? Wait, you can you see it now? Was it gone for a second, Chow? Oh, okay, Neo can see. Okay. I was thinking people couldn't see it. But Kevin says, I like your moving box art. Thank you. I literally just moved into I just moved across the country to freaking New York like a couple weeks ago, and I just moved into an apartment in Brooklyn like 5 days ago. So still getting moved in. But Neo, coming from a background of poker and crypto, I can't speak as much to crypto because I don't come from a crypto background, but I do come from a pretty heavy poker background. Not that I was ever like a pro, but I did play it recreationally, and I mean, I was like semi, profitable over a decent period of time, but nothing crazy, just low stakes, like 1, 2, 5, 5. I think poker is one of the best backgrounds to prediction markets because you're going to be really used to thinking of things in terms of like expected value, edges. The meta on poker is like solvers, trying to find game theory optimal, whatever. So I think if you come from that background, prediction markets are a gold mine. And I think there's like so much money to be had. And, in poker, you're going to go through extremely high levels of variance because obviously skill is a big part of it. But anyone who's played poker will tell you how brutal variance is. You'll go through variance on prediction markets for sure. I just think your edge that you can have on prediction markets is so much higher that like on Kalshi, if you're a real sharp coming from a poker background, you will experience less variance and because your edge is so much higher. Trump RX seems like a given based on the context of the announcement. Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to pull it up actually because I was reading about this before, but it is an announcement basically that, he's partnering with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk. It's going to be listed on Trump RX is also part of the announcement. Again, this has Trump in the name, Trump RX. Why is he not going to say it? But let's see. Let me pull up some more on the announcement. I think Washington Post had a good article on this I was reading today. I think, honestly, like, Fat Shot / Ozempic is interesting. Philadelphia high is temp. The high was 61 degrees at midnight, but the odds are higher on 59 to 60 degrees. Interesting. I mean, I'll take your word for that one. I don't play weather markets, so I can't really comment. But maybe I hope you're right. Something I did enter into, and I was talking to Ben. Ben actually made a ton of posts on this, was the margin of victory for Zoran. It's kind of cut out a bit with, let me see. So I did pick up 1,000 shares of 9 to 12% for Zoran. I think it was like 93% reporting in, and he was at like an 8.8% margin. But I think there's a lot more votes that are coming in from Brooklyn, and I think from talking with Ben, a lot of the last votes are expected to be mail-in ballot, which we were thinking will probably favor Mamdani. Again, a lot of this is like vibes because, these are new things. But right now we're looking good. We got in at 36. It's trading at about 53. A little upset I didn't size up here, but, I wanted to purchase 3,000, 5,000 shares. Ben told me, don't size up, just hold your 1,000 shares. So I just followed him. TrumpRx.com did not work this morning. TrumpRx.gov does. Well, thankfully both count, right? So you get TrumpRx or if he says TrumpRx.gov. In his announcement his announcement on October 9th, he explicitly, this was him announcing new prescription drug discount. He mentioned Trump RX twice. So yeah, I feel pretty good about Trump RX mention. But again, I got in at like 83. I'd probably put fair value here, the range of like 90, 95. So I wouldn't market buy like everything there. But wait, what happened to my Eli Lilly shares? Is this just bugging out? I thought I had 1,000. Yeah, okay, good. Again, did my I got kind of jumped on my Trump order on Trillion. You got in at 55 cents on Trump RX, Dustin? Are you serious? What the hell? Dude, Dustin got in at 55 cents on Sports by Dustin, who's in the comments right now, got in at 55 cents on Trump RX. Yeah, I think, guys, like, getting early to some of these strikes, man, it can be crazy, because all of these markets, they're going to be priced most efficiently right as they're about to start. So, if you get in early when a market's created and you can snap up some like really good shares, It's unclear if he can pronounce Novo Nordisk. Yeah, exactly, Tom. That's why, even though if you look at all the last speeches, he always, when he's doing these drug price announcements, he always mentions the name. Like, even though that's like 100% strike rate, I did not pick up Novo Nordisk. I think he's going to say it, but it's just a little more complicated of a word to say. And I have heard him say, and I mean, I have transcripts on this, Eli Lilly multiple times before. So I know he can say Eli Lilly, and I know this announcement centers around them. So to me, it's like, I'll just pick up Eli Lilly. They were priced pretty similarly. So why take what I think is additional risk? I mean, it'll be really funny now if he says Novo Nordisk, but doesn't say Eli Lilly. Snap food stamps, an interesting one. Priced at like 60%. Obviously, this is like a huge talking point with the administration right now, since apparently SNAP recipients may not be receiving benefits or may only be receiving partial benefits. This deal is centering around drug prices, you know. Will SNAP still come up? You know, I think there's a good chance in the Q&A they kind of weave it in. But I want to look at his last speeches and not just focus in on these drug speeches. So let me maybe look back to let's look at like the start of the shutdown, which I think is closer to like October. What is it looking like with SNAP and food stamp mentions? So at the GOP senators' breakfast, why would Trump say Eli Lilly? OBJ, this announcement is basically for a deal he reached with Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly on their drugs for like losing weight. Ozempic, he calls them fat drugs or fat shots. What are my thoughts on Supreme Court? Yeah, there is a lot going on with Supreme Court right now. So that's another interesting strike. Like, those strikes are going to be super vibes heavy, right? Because, like, again, it's going to pop up because of, you know, information happening right now. Let's see, Supreme Court. I don't know, I guess like 65% just seems kind of expensive to me for taking yes on Supreme Court. I say that more so just because whenever I'm taking words, I like to be able to kind of fall back on transcripts a little bit. And this is a word that's going to mostly come up, you know, I think in relation to, you know, the whole Supreme Court tariff decision. So a lot more heavy on like vibes and what's going on right now. You know, if we just look going back to October and all his speeches, he's mentioned Supreme Court less than 20% of the time. But obviously, there's good reason for him to bring it up this time. I don't think he'll necessarily bring it up, you know, in his prepared remarks, but maybe in Q&A. But I would think, an interesting relationship is like tariff is trading at 82% and Supreme Court is trading at 64%. And I think these are heavily related. I think if he talks about tariff, there's a very good chance he's going to weave in Supreme Court. Oh, here we go. Looks like Trump is out now. Let me get audio. I can't hear anything yet. Let me make sure I don't have it muted or anything. Okay, here we go.
200%, 300%, 500%, 700%, a little bit more than that. So today I'm thrilled to announce that the two world's largest pharmaceutical manufacturers, Eli Lilly and
Eli Lilly,
Novo
right off the
Nordisk,
bat. 5 seconds in, we get Eli Lilly.
Their most popular GLP-1
Boom.
weight loss drug. I call it the fat drug, remember? At
Novo
drastic
Nordisk, too.
discounts. They're very effective drugs. So far, I've never heard anything bad about them. I only hear good about them. It's pretty. Is there anything bad about them, Bob? Yeah, I haven't heard anything bad. Someday, maybe it'll come out, which will notify you immediately. But so far, I haven't heard that, including the drugs known as Zepbound and Wegovy, often called Ozempic.
Ozempic.
This is a triumph for American patients that will save lives and improve the health of millions and millions of Americans. Amazing thing. They are amazing. I want to thank Eli Lilly's CEO, David Ricks, a friend of mine. We've worked long and hard. He and I got this whole thing started in a way. And Novo Nordisk CEO, Mike Dustar, for joining us today. Great, talented people. They make a lot of money. I looked at the money, but they're entitled to the money because the companies are doing very well. Along with Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Secretary Howard Lutnick. Do you take any of this stuff, Howard?
Not yet.
Okay, good. CMS Administrator Mehmet Oz, he doesn't take it. Food and Drug Administrator, Commissioner Marty McCary, and Director of Medicare, Chris Claw.
Medicare.
And we have Steve. Where's Steve? Is he here? Head of Public Relations for the White House. He's taking it. The United States is just 4% of the world's population and consumes only 13% of all prescription drugs, yet pharmaceutical companies make 75% of their profits from the American customer. I would say that's not so good, right? It's not exactly.
Is Trillions going to come up
To
here?
address this chronic unfairness, I signed an executive order earlier this year instructing my administration to do everything in our power to implement most favored nations drug pricing, something that has been helped greatly by tariffs, because when nations refuse to do it.
Is he going to mention Supreme Court now?
I put this in the case yesterday.
Supreme
I just say, well, if you're not going to do it, we're going to charge you a like amount of tariffs. And they immediately say, we'll do it. Which means that Americans should pay no more than the lowest
no
price
Supreme Court mentioned
offered
there.
anywhere in the world. So that you've heard for years the disparity where you'll pay $150 for a pill in New York and you'll pay $10
New
for
York
a pill
mentioned.
in London. Now
Wow,
you're
that
gonna
was
pay
like
$20 both, because the world is a little bit bigger than the U.S., so it goes up that way.
It's like
you'll pay $20
in
and $20.
60s.
A tremendous advantage to our country after years of being abused by the world system. Already Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and EMD, Serono.
Trump
have
RX
agreed to
Neo is the main thing I'm
drastically lower
holding
their
on.
prices for American patients, and today Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are joining the phenomenal list of the most exciting announcements. I mean, nobody's ever had announcements like, and this has to do with other pharmaceutical products also. But we're covering this today because it's such a big seller. I guess it's the number one selling thing there is today. These are two companies that behind the groundbreaking weight loss drugs that have helped millions of Americans struggling with obesity live better, longer lives, everything else. These are the two companies that really broke ground.
See, not going to
Until
hit
now,
on Trump
neither of
RX.
these two popular drugs have been covered by Medicare for weight loss, and they've only rarely been covered by Medicaid. They've often cost consumers more than $1,000 per month, and some a lot more than that. Americans have been spending as much as 520% more for Zepbound and 1,400% more for Wegovy than patients in Europe. Think of that. 1,400% more than a patient in Europe for the exact same box. And that
Still
ends
no
starting
trillions.
Today. The other countries are not happy with us. I don't think they like me too much, Bobby, but that's okay. Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are committing to offer Zepbound and Wegovy at most favored nations rates for American patients. This will slash the cost of Wegovy from $1,350 a month to ultimately $250 a month. $1,350 to $250. Did I do a good job? They don't write about it. You know, they like to not write these things. And reduce, you think Biden could have done this? I don't think so. And reduce the monthly cost of Zepbound from $1,080 to $346. In addition, they're both committing that future GLP-1 weight loss drugs taken orally, which are currently under development, will be sold at no more than $149 per month. It's a massive, think of that. You go from $1,300 to $149 a month. We anticipate these new versions will be coming out in a very short period of time. All of these drugs will be available directly to the consumer at Trump
RX, baby, let's go. That
name.
is why 25 USDC.
Better be good.
Trump RX, baby.
TrumpRx.gov, and I think it's turning out to be pretty amazing.
TrumpRx.gov.
Just as significantly,
What a
Medicare
wonderful
and
website.
Medicaid will finally cover the cost of these weight loss drugs for millions of patients suffering from obesity. Co-pays for Medicare patients will be as low as $50. This is tremendous savings. I mean, now you're talking about from $1,350 to $50.
Still no
This is
trillions
tremendous
mentioned,
news
though.
for the American seniors, and you all remember what I had 1/8 of 1% for the year. I got it 1/8, and I was so thrilled. But now we're cutting
That was
it
perfect
1,000%,
timing, 25
1,200%.
USDC.
Nobody's ever seen anything like this. Nobody else could have.
By the
done
way,
it,
if
but
none
it's
of you guys have
$50.
followed 25 USDC's content,
You think it was easy?
he's a legendary trader, so check him out.
You think it was easy saying your drug, Mr. Eli Lilly, that we're selling for $1,300 is going to be sold for $250? You know the amazing thing, the stocks all went up. I mean, these guys they're fantastic because it's going to equalize the world. The world's a bigger place, and it's going to equalize. I was a little surprised to see that, but I'm happy about it. In addition, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk have agreed to provide all of their other medications.
He's talking a lot of big
Medicaid
numbers,
at
but still no
most favored
trillion.
Nations prices, most favored nations, meaning that you will pay the lowest price anywhere in the world. That's what
I
you're
mean,
gonna pay.
I only have
Whereas
300
before,
shares,
they
so I don't
paid
really
low
care that
prices, and
much,
we
but
paid, you know, thousands of percentile ahead more. And to sell
Dustin,
these
you
drugs
got in at
to all consumers
53
at deeply
cents.
discounted
What a
prices
legendary
via
trade on Trump RX
When
at
is Trump
50 cents.
opening?
The site is open. It will launch in terms of giving people prices before the end of the year.
Okay, got to make sure it's successful. It's got my name on it. I don't want to be like so many others. I don't want to be
It's
like
kind
the
of
thing
weird that
they're
a
doing in
president
California.
has a.
Okay, which has
Never
about
mind.
15,000% cost overrun. Or the beautiful Obama building that he's building in Chicago for the museum, which is now shuttered up and dead. They got it up, and they couldn't finish. It's about, would you say, 5 years behind schedule? And about 2,000% over budget. Then he tells us how to run Medicaid. Many of the
Whoa.
most widely used drugs will be available for 60% off, or even more than that. In addition, all new medications introduced by Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk to the American market will be sold at the heavily reduced most favored nations price. Most favored nations price, that's the best. Because they have been thousands of percent lower than what we were selling in many cases. Furthermore, Eli Lilly is investing $27 billion. That's all? And Novo Nordisk will invest $10 billion.
Come on,
That's
drop the
all
trillion.
Peanuts.
Drop the trillion.
In the United States,
We don't want
reshore,
billions.
do a big domestic manufacturing job in the facilities they're going to spend. So Eli Lilly spent $27 billion. Novo is spending $10 billion in the United States. So they're building new plant and equipment.
Drop the trillion,
That's
Trump.
part of
Oh,
what will be 20 or 21
boom. Trillion
dollars
hit.
this year. There's never been
There we
anything
go.
like it. I
We
know
cleaned
nobody
up.
Talks about it,
We cleaned up.
but there's never been anything like I would say you would
It
say.
paused right on the trillion mention. Let's go. Make sure I don't have any resting orders. China?
Or Europe, or you could take all of Europe. There's never been anything like this. So we're already past 17 trillion. We're going to be, I think, by the time the year closes out,
All right.
we'll have investments of over $21 trillion based on the way we're going. And
3 for
by the way,
3.
Tariffs are very important.
I mean,
Tariffs.
I was taking like high priced bonds, so this isn't that impressive, guys. I took like 90 cents, 70 cents, but this felt like a speech you had to just bond really high value things. I wish I could have sized up more, you know.
Devastated if we got a negative decision. But this is a great day for
Oh,
American
Supreme
health
Court.
and healthcare.
There it is.
And for all of American patients, these are things that
We were
are
talking about this
miracles to
before
have
the
this
speech.
happen.
Interesting.
And they're, we're bringing all our medicines again because of tariffs. We're bringing all our medicines. If you remember, where during COVID we made almost no medicine here. We had to go to China.
I agree,
We had to
Julian.
go to Ireland. we
This
had to
was
go
kind
to
of an
other
easier
places,
one with the
UK.
information that came out
We
earlier.
didn't make it here. Now we're making it. We'll soon be
With like the info about what the speech would relate to.
and my election, but because of tariffs, much more. For years, politicians have talked about making health care affordable, but my administration is actually doing it. Americans deserve the best health care in the world. And we're now
All right, I'm going to see if there's anything that makes sense to buy live towards the end of this speech.
doing a fantastic job.
There's probably going to be a Q&A, obviously. So let's see what comes up there.
By Dr. Roz, Dr. Klopp, and then Eli Lilly, CEO David Ricks, and Novo Nordisk CEO Mike Dustar. These are incredible stars.
How much
in
did I
the
make,
business.
Matthias?
Like
Only
Dustar
300 bucks. These were all
is a
super
big
high price
star.
strikes, so not that impressive.
And I can tell you
I
that
tried to
David
size
Ricks
up
is
more,
one of
but
the hottest
I
people
didn't
in
start
the
putting
world.
limit orders out
But,
until like an hour before the
business that
speech.
he's in is,
So I didn't have much time to
pharmaceutical.
research
The
this.
job he's done with Eli Lilly is incredible. Both of these gentlemen there.
Like, Eli Lilly was at
Stars and
85
2
cents.
And
He said it
it's an
100
RNA,
times. That
it's
should have been
one acid.
99 cents.
Go
We
through
knew
it,
ahead of
buddy.
this that it was relating to Eli Lilly, so
Thank you, Mr. President, for declaring war on chronic disease in this country.
all right, let me turn this down.
No American
But like,
president has ever done
okay, I always talk about bonds. Yeah, I get a lot of shit because I call things bonds when they're not really bonds. You know, I use bonds way more flexible than I should. But like, I want to break down this Eli Lilly thing because this isn't a genius play, but like, I only got 1,000 shares at like 85 cents, but like, we knew ahead of this announcement that this was a deal that Trump was striking between Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk. He drops Eli Lilly in his drug announcement speeches, even when it's not even related to Eli Lilly.
in the affliction.
I just like don't understand. Like this should have been like a 95, 99 cent strike.
President
Um,
Trump is the friend
But
of the
obviously people disagree with me.
obesity.
And that's why you're able to get these types of fills, which is a good thing. I'm just shocked this was, as low as it was.
Drugs have only
Um,
been available for
Trump
people
RX, I can understand the pricing on this one. We got it at 83 cents. You know, that one, there always is some uncertainty. I felt good about it, which is why I entered. But, man, Eli Lilly, sub 90, that is just insane to me. But again, I only got 1,000 shares, so it's not like I could even get like 5,000 or anything. But, yeah, people say, can you find edges in mention markets? I mean, like, to me, that's just like such a stupid mispricing. I don't know. I don't know how that was not like 95 to 99. Trillion, I don't think Trillion was like massively mispriced. I think 70 cents was probably pretty close. Granted, I liked it a lot because in his last 3 drug announcements, he's always said trillion, and he's not only said it once, he said it like 5+ times in all his drug announcements because he starts talking about investments, and that's what he did here. So I felt pretty good about trillion. Like I said, I only had about a half hour to look at the speech, and like analyze it. And I only started putting limits out like 45 minutes before. It's sometimes hard to stay on top of mentioned markets with all the nuance dropping, so I wish I could have sized up more. I'm going to keep watching, see if there's something to kind of pick up live. Maybe food stamp makes sense getting really cheap on Yes, because I think there's no doubt they won't bring it up during prepared remarks. I don't think that was ever the intention. I think this will come up during Q&A. So if this dips too low and they're going to do a Q&A at the end, it may make sense to try to acquire some live. But guys, look at the order book here, okay? It's a pretty high spread and it's pretty low liquidity. So whenever I'm talking about live trades, use limit orders. You know, if you set a limit order out at a low price, if somebody wants to dump their shares, maybe they'll fill, but don't market buy here, because then you know what I mean, you'd get in at a bad price. So just remember that. Hottest already hit. Supreme Court. Communism. Is this here because of Mamdani?
In order to join this administration, Inma Hernandez, David Brooks, and of course, Dr. Oz and Marty McCary.
Man, this might be a long speech with all these people here. This probably will. So it'll probably be a pretty dang long speech. Has Biden still not hit? Oh, it already hit. Yeah. Yeah, somebody was asking about Biden's 70% being undervalued. You were probably very right on that. I can't remember who that was.
So we're making all of this available at A Savings, and that's because
Oh, but you guys are focused on Jamie Dimon's speech? Yeah, I didn't play Jamie Dimon. I figured this speech would be higher volume. I wonder what Jamie Dimon looks like right now.
people who have a BMI of 27
Let's see.
and above, or pre-diabetic, or have heart disease risk, they will be able to get it, but everybody will be able to get this drug. And it is
Look up
going
Jamie
to-
Dimon.
It's going to change. We will
Yeah, it's a
lose
little lower
our
liquidity. Like
public
anything
health.
Trump is always going to be deep. This one's already
We'll lose
breaking 100K,
125 million pounds by this time.
which is so crazy. This was a mention that was added super late. I love
Human health.
how popular mentions are getting.
I want to thank President Trump for his leadership. He said that I'd gotten a lot done as HHS secretary, but almost none of that is due to my ability. It's because I'm surrounded by people who are smarter than me, who are more able than me, and
I don't know how long I can sit through this speech. We'll see.
because they were inspired by President Trump.
If he's going to go down the whole list,
Because they see this.
You think they are smarter than you and
Yeah.
more able? No.
Believe me, they're a lot smarter than I am.
hopefully he's not going to go down the whole list, have Oz speak, all these other people.
He doesn't really mean that he's being modest, I promise you, but
It is
Look at Trump in that chair.
But I want to thank you.
He's just sitting there relaxed, moisturized, in his element.
Allowing me to attract these extraordinary people. And I want to again thank David Ricks, who we've been talking, we've been in this Oval Office again and again. You keep saying he's the smartest guy in industry, that he could talk a dog off a meat truck. But they came to the table. And Mike
Unbothered,
told me, he said,
moisturized, in his lane. That was the word I was looking for.
20 years that it was okay for Europe to pay $10.
Oh, Trump's
For
talking now.
America to pay $140. That's why they make 45, 50 million a year. He did. Finally, I said, I've had it, right? You did. He did. But anybody can do that, and they're entitled. But now it's down to what it should be.
And Mike Dusar told me what a pleasure it was to negotiate with people who were smart, who had common sense, who were able to put themselves in his position and hammer out this deal that is good for everybody. And it's great for the American public. I want to close again by just saying that this is a
Man,
tribute to
how does Trump
It
do
is
it though?
not
He's like in
a
his
silver bullet.
80s. He's flying to
It is
all
an
these
arrow in
countries
our
every
quiver.
other
It will
day.
allow a
He's
lot of
just
people
like,
who are locked into high-risk obesity
what will he say in the
to find
C5
new
summit?
ways
That's at,
to
is that at
reset and
6
start doing
ET?
the kind of things
Am
that
I
will
right?
address the root causes of
I'm gonna look at that
obesity.
next.
So I want to thank
Gonna
these
try to load up on some
extraordinary
plays
CEOs,
for the
that,
C5
for
summit.
sticking with us on this, for allowing us to make this happen. Mike Dustar said to me, he said, we've known we've had to do
Thankfully,
this for
that's one
many
that'll have
years,
at least a few hours
but we
to load
just
up some
haven't been able to get it
limit
over
orders
the
on. Let me
edge.
look at it now
This
while RFK is
President
speaking.
Trump's order, his executive order, was the catalyst to do something that we always knew needed to be done. So again, thank you for your vision, for your commitment, and thank you to all the CEOs and all of my team for making this historic agreement happen.
Bobby, you haven't changed your view on Tylenol for women or pregnant?
No, as I said,
Because there were some false reports out about Tylenol that Bobby changed his view. I don't think he's changed his view.
I'm not going to change until the science changes, and the science does not look like it's changing. It's getting stronger and stronger. Every day, what we recommend is that mothers, pregnant mothers, talk to their physicians, the mothers of small kids talk to their physicians, and we've advised the physicians to reduce the
Airbnb
thresholds and
earnings?
to reduce the amount of Tylenol that
Yeah.
they give to children as much as possible, and only use it when it's absolutely critical.
RM, for me, I've been playing a lot of mention markets, and the liquidity is just kind of really deep on mentions. Tylenol? Wait, was that just RFK though that just said Tylenol?
President Trump, I believe you won the election.
Wait,
because you
Trump
remember
just
the
squeezed in
forgotten man.
Tylenol
You
right
speak to
there?
them,
Wait,
they hear
what?
you, they listen to you.
Kids talk to their physicians, and we've advised the physicians to reduce the thresholds and to reduce the amount of Tylenol that they give to children as much as possible, and only use it when it's absolutely critical.
Wait,
So,
did Trump
we're gonna go through some of the deal
say
points,
Tylenol?
but it does
I assume he did, because
make itself clear that the real stake here is
So,
Critical.
where Trump.
wait,
We're just
I'm trying to
stronger changes in the science.
I didn't even see.
I don't think he's changed his view.
I'm not going to change until the science changes, and the science does not look like it's changing. It's getting straightened.
Oh, before that? Okay. I missed
Do
it live.
just by throwing money at the
Crazy.
problem. You have to actually literally deal with the causes of the increase in price, and pharmaceutical prices are.
But yeah,
part of
see,
that.
this
They've
is
been a
going to
part of
be
it
where
for a
all
long
of them are
time,
going to
but this
speak. This is going to be
president
such a
insisted
long
that we
speech.
address it. In fact, the first time I heard this directly from
So
the
let me,
January,
let's
Mark
start
Rubio,
looking
I
at
think
C5
I
plus
actually
1
myself,
summit while I'm in this, so I'm not
actually
just
heard from the
frying my
secretary
brain.
and demanded explanations for most favored nation
But yeah,
pricing,
I mean,
what's wrong with it. And
look,
the
I
one
couldn't size up as much as I wanted to, but by the way, we
Omaha
came out
is
$300 ahead on that.
America will have to get
We got a
fit.
good week,
North
guys,
American
coming.
healthcare
I'm
system
already
has the answer. It has
up,
obesity management,
I want to
diet,
say
exercise,
2
and sleep, and dealing with
2.5K
issues related to that. And I want to say it as
or
clear as I
so
can.
on
Obesity
the
is
week,
not an
so we're
absence of
keeping it going.
GLP-1 drugs.
And then we got a lot more mentions coming, so hopefully we can ramp that up. Kind of sick of just having a few K profit every week. I really want to like get some big weeks, but you know. All right, Trump C5 plus 1 summit. I don't know anything about this. I know it's a meeting, you know, at the White House with Central Asian countries is my understanding. But I want to get more background on like exactly what this is.
It's fairness in price to Americans who have been getting ripped off paying 3 times more than their European counterparts for the exact same product made in the same factory in the
Just
same
say no
product,
to the
same
C5
package.
plus 1
We
summit.
should be paying 3 times more, and we are no longer doing that. Fairness to the forgotten man also means dealing with
You're
the
writing a lot of
people
no
who
shares.
can
Is that what I'm
afford
hearing?
a life-saving, life-changing
Yeah, so
drug that
for the
10%
C5 plus
or
1
more
summit,
of affluent
Trump
Americans,
is hosting
but folks without means
Central Asian leaders as U.S. seeks to circumvent China on
Secretary
rare
Kennedy
earth metals.
mentioned, New York City. It actually, the #1 zip code is the Upper East
You
Side.
see rare
so where
earth
you have
at
property.
82.
Folks who know
Just
ritzy areas
at a high
and
level,
important
looking
real
at rare
estate
earth
there
mineral
because
at
those real
82,
estate properties are worth
I
a lot
probably
there.
think that's
That should
undervalued,
be the #1
but
zip
again, I
code
need to
in
do more
America
research.
for purchasing GLP-1
But
drugs. It speaks to the fact that we have an inherently
I mean, let's
innately
see.
unfair system that penalizes folks who can use these
So,
medications
5
because
Central
folks are
Asian
robust
countries
enough.
at the
And what
White
he's supposed
House
to do, if you
as he
do the right thing to
intensifies
do,
his
your
hunt
health
for
is
rare
right there,
earth
but you can't
metals
afford to get it.
needed for high-tech
Folks need to be able to
devices.
utilize these life-saving
So it's going to be
medications. Being fair
Kazakhstan,
about its distribution is essential, and we are
Kyrgyzstan,
democratizing democratizing access to
Tajikistan,
these
I might not be
medications,
pronouncing
giving
these
them
right,
the moral
Turkmenistan, and
to make sure that all
Uzbekistan.
Americans have access to avoiding all the obesity-related complications by making
Oh,
sure
the
they
roll
can
call
afford,
link?
if they do things right, not just MAHA,
Yeah, I like roll call.
appropriate, interventions, but also medications like this. In fact, we think these deals, and this part's very important.
Are you saying because
we
it's
think these
closed
deals
press?
within 2 years, by the time the ink dries on these contracts that were signed earlier today, within 2 years, based on our health
Interesting.
improvements, we will be budget neutral. These drugs will not cost us money. The American taxpayers will be getting their money back. That's how important it is for us to reduce the cost of healthcare in this country, especially when it's due to preventable problems like obesity. In addition,
Oh,
we have
Loxy.
an update, Secretary Kennedy.
Look at this,
We
guys.
promised
Loxy is now in the
145
green.
million pounds. Mr. President, our
1,600
estimate based on the
bucks.
company
Shout out
numbers as well
Loxy.
is Americans will
Came
lose
out the depths. Now he's
135
profiting on
billion
mentions.
pounds
What a
by
legend.
midterms.
But,
I don't measure it in pounds. I measure it in saved lives. People can sleep again because they can breathe as when they go to bed.
Yeah.
Folks whose knees don't hurt. People who don't have heart attacks, renal failure, dementia, all the things we know.
No, you're right,
associated with
Tom.
obesity and much
You got to
more.
be careful if it is
This wouldn't
closed
have happened if
press.
We didn't have the right tools.
Um,
And had the ability
but
of the team that has been spoken of
Bip
earlier.
Bop
So
is
Paul
right,
Sutton,
too,
he leads, he's in the back
that
right there.
sometimes
He
they'll
leads
say
the
closed
CMS
press,
Innovation Center. It made the deal
and it
possible.
will still be
They're
live.
announcing today a new
But,
model, a brand
you
new
know,
model
until I get more
aimed at the
information on
vulnerable
this,
populations amongst
it
us.
seems like people are
These
pricing
medications,
this
the
to be
forgotten man who
open
will be able to
press.
afford
Like,
it.
I remember
Mr.
his
President,
lunch he
governors
did
will be thanking
with,
President Trump. They should be calling directly, sir.
I want to say
If they're gonna
Zelensky
be
was
able to
also
afford
marked as closed
Medicaid
press,
next year,
but obviously
it
they
was
still did the lunch. They
unimaginable,
still
and they
showed
will
it to the
stop
press.
crapping on education and other
It's
services.
priced that
We
way
cannot
that this
be
is still going to be
a
open
multi-nation
press.
without being a healthy
Um,
nation. That's
so,
why today's MFN deal is a historic step
all that to
forward for
say,
all Americans.
you know,
And this
I
is
will
something
not
that I don't
be
think is partisan. There is no way you
buying
can
or
argue against
selling
what's happened. These numbers
based
on
on
one
the
side
closed
there,
press, but maybe until I get more
Terry
information,
has been instrumental in this process as well.
I probably won't be entering any
$1,350
positions. I
baseline.
just want to confirm it's going to be
Chris Klump will go through the
streamed.
numbers, but just
Let me
focus on
talk
that
to some
245,
people.
which is what he's going to point you to. And Chris Klump has been an unbelievable leader, an innovator. You've heard his name before. He's spoken here before, but he is continuing to change the face of CMS. And I love the fact that with his leadership, we're bringing a lot of wonderful people in. Inma Hernandez has been mentioned, John Brooks as well, and many others, including Beth Kelly, who runs the legal issues around these issues, because these guys are barracudas, Mr. President. They will take you down.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to
slice
some
you in little
people, see if
bits.
there's any info on if it's
and
actually
that-
going to be streamed or not.
Howard's been there. It's no longer happening. You've got sharp folks. We're open for business. It's a generational opportunity to serve, and people are showing up. God
Yeah,
bless
so I'm
you.
going to
We
hold
introduce
off
now
entering
Chris
any
Klump, who's,
positions just in case this
makes my
isn't
life easier
streamed.
every day. I'm so proud of him.
Because obviously I don't want to buy into something,
Deals are rooted in principles.
have it not have a
We
stream.
talked about this before, and today we're announcing another truly great deal. I love this deal, and it's rooted in the
Man, look at this
principle
guy.
of potential.
He's like true,
This is about
very
unlocking the full potential of
smiley.
every American, the grandmother, the grandfather, the father, the son, by unlocking access to affordable life-saving medications that make a meaningful
So what's left
difference
on
in
this
their lives
speech?
when they need them most. That's what today delivers.
Shutdown
It's a bill
still
built
not
on
mentioned.
principle, for
Probably
people,
gonna be
for the
Q&A.
people, and backed by policy that works.
What was this?
So the most important
See,
step to
like,
getting healthy
I don't
is believing
understand
that
some of this
life
price
has
action.
value that God meant for each of us
Shutdown
to
was
have
trading
purpose
close to
and
80
joy
cents,
to live
85
fully.
before the
And to do
speech.
that, we must be good
And
stewards
now
of our body.
It's all the way down
The
to
president
like
has been
40.
fighting
You
to
could have just,
provide
I guess somebody
another
just
tool
picked it up.
to do just this in
Wow,
front of
okay,
us, and it's
as I
my
say that,
pleasure
somebody just,
to outline
like,
the contours
I
of the
don't
deal.
think,
So,
or was
the
I
first
looking at
was
no? Was I, yeah, I was
customary
looking at
with
no.
the three
Sorry, I
prior
was wrong. But,
announcements, all of the customary
you know, I
participation
just,
terms that you've grown familiar
I think if
with
shutdown's going to
apply
come up,
to these two
it's going to be during
bills.
Q&A.
This is
So I
actually
don't think
bill
prepared
4
remarks
five.
should really impact
Full
the
Medicaid
the
portfolios
probability of this
today
strike
at
because
most favored nation prices.
I think the odds of him
Shared
saying in
savings
prepared remarks are
from
already
existing
so
term
low.
prices, deployed back to the United
Communist
States.
communism. Does
All
anyone
primary
know
care
the
drugs,
background behind why this is
at
68?
US
Is this
net
just
prices or
a
most favored
Mamdani
nation
strike?
prices available on Trump
Because this
RX
seems
for
overvalued to me
Medicare.
at this point in the
And
speech.
most
Communist
importantly,
communism
all
at
future drug launches
70. But is the
100%
idea, like,
Medicaid,
when he talks
Medicare, and
about
cash markets at most favored nation prices
Mamdani,
going
he's going to
forward.
drop this?
Now, GLP-1s. So first, under this agreement, starting doses of oral GLP-1s will cost just $149 a month for everyone. That's roughly 1/8 the cost of the list.
Summit
price
meetings
today.
like today are
For
typically
Medicare,
only partially
manufacturers are
televised.
voluntarily reducing their prices for
Yeah.
GLP-1s currently used
I
for
mean,
diabetes and other
I'm not
covered
going to say there might not be
conditions
value
to
in just taking
$245
some long shot
per
no's
month
on the high price
across
strikes.
all doses.
I don't know how
The
factored in it
savings
already is to the
generated
pricing
from
on
this
the
change in prices will be
on
used
the s-
to provide new coverage
summit.
to obesity.
Personally, I'm just
and
not going to
individuals
enter
struggling
any
with obesity and
positions
also
for
have
now
high
until I get
metabolic or
more
cardiovascular
info.
risk. Again, all for the
Yeah,
same $245
Chris, I
a
mean,
month.
possibly.
That
Like I
means
said, I'm not
Americans
going to be doing
struggling
that.
with diabetes and obesity,
but
with heart disease, or other chronic conditions can access these
I'm going to just
life-changing
wait
drugs
till I have more info
affordably.
on like if it's going to be yes or
Medicare
no.
patients, importantly,
Or like
only
if it's
pay
actually going to be
$50
streamed or
a
not.
month for a copay.
But it's not a
This is a
terrible
massive
idea to
reduction
take no's
from what
because
happens today.
then
For
obviously if the
Medicaid,
speech doesn't
Novo
happen, you
Lilly
can
will
profit.
extend the same new
And
low
even if it
government
does, they
pricing
still have to say the
to
words.
all 50
But
state Medicaid
maybe that's already
programs
factored into
should
the
they opt
pricing,
in.
you know?
And we encourage them
Like-
to opt in, and these will be available not just for diabetes and current covered indications, but also for obesity. Again, and in case you're getting tired of me saying it,
Like how
at
low
the
is
same
food
price
stamp
of
getting?
$245 a month, all covered doses. On Trump RX, the average price of injectables and orals.
So who
will
founded Trump
start
RX? Is
at
Trump really not even like
$350
part
on
of Trump
average.
RX?
That's
He
compared to
keeps
roughly
being
$500
surprised and
today.
saying like, why are they
And that
using
will
my
trend
name? Is he
down
really
to,
not
you
like an
guessed it,
equity
the
holder
same
in Trump RX?
$245 a month over the next 24 months. That is 1/5
Jakey,
of the list price.
we got into this
One half of the best
only
price
30
in the
minutes
United States
before.
today.
We had
Novo
Eli
is
Lilly,
president that your
Trillion,
friend who has to travel to
and
England
Trump
to afford
RX.
these drugs
We
will
hit
no
3
longer
for
get
3 on
themselves
these.
from coming to do it
But
in the
look,
United
I know
States.
we've been talking.
I'll also just mention that
If you guys
$149
haven't watched
is
Jakey Soul's
$1
stuff,
less than
we're going to be
what
doing
to achieve.
a stream together probably soon on these
Make
mentions.
sure that's clear.
I'm going to be cooking up
So, I
one
want to highlight
with some
two other
high
really
high
important points
conviction
that make me love
plays.
this deal so very much.
So I'm
First,
waiting.
this
I'm
isn't
looking
about
at some of
spending,
the
it's about spending
mentions that are maybe a day out, so I can
the
like
savings
go
from the
balls to the
diabetes drug
walls,
price
Jakey, on the
reductions are
research,
being used
and we
in
can throw
cost-neutral
a few
way
grand
to
on
fund
these.
the new indications for taxpayers. That's amazing.
But now this one's just like boring because we already hit on all our strikes,
24-month period.
and it's like all these other
Cost
people are
neutral,
talking.
spending the money more wisely. But second, this isn't just
And this is
about
just gonna
lowering
drag
prices
on.
for Americans, though it does do that. But together with physical activity, with healthy eating and diet, and where appropriate, the use of breakthrough.
No on
drugs,
everything I could grab. That's your
no
play,
return
Tom.
on investment is healthier Americans. Lower
Oh, you
chronic
know.
disease, lower costs. We estimate by tens of billions of dollars a year.
Let me
And most
let me
importantly,
show you.
higher productivity. Today is about freeing Americans from the weight.
What game do you think we're on
literally
over here,
and
Jakey?
figuratively. The
When I
weight
say
of
lock in, I mean lock in.
It's about unlocking the potential of every citizen to live fully, to contribute fully, and to find joy in their health. We
Plus,
cannot reach our
I got
full
my
potential
second
as a
Celsius
nation
of the
if we
day
cannot
already
reach our
right
full
here.
potential as
We're
individuals.
locked in. We're fully
We
locked
cannot
in
reach our
today.
full potential as individuals if we are not healthy. Thanks to Nova and Lilly for
This is
showing
not
us
health
so
advice to anyone, by the way.
over the
You
last
know,
several months
I
to
do
make
not
this possible.
endorse any
Particular thanks to you, Mr. President, for
supplements.
again demonstrating that you fight for every American, this time for potential. It's now my sincere pleasure to first introduce Dave Ricks from Lilly and then Mike Dusto from Nova.
Great, thank you.
Ah, they're just gonna go down the list of all these
It's
freaking
truly
people.
an honor to be here today for this historic
It's
step
like-
forward to expand access to a class of medications that can
All right, let's
fundamentally
see.
change
What
the
what else? I don't
outcomes
want
of
to. I don't want to
chronic
listen to these
diseases
people.
in our country.
What other earnings calls are coming up?
GLP-1 agonist that we've been speaking about.
Jamie Dimon's already over. I mean, it looks like is he talking right now?
for conflicts out there where
We've been advancing science and creating.
Mm.
him would hurt him.
But today,
So Jamie Dimon already ended. See a few strikes that hit. Wait. Oh my gosh. Wait, what is happening? Oh my gosh. Someone is. Shoot, that's terrible. Oh man. Let me take the. Whoa. Someone, I think, just had like a heart attack or something on air. I'm taking that off. Shoot. Thoughts and prayers to whoever that was. That's That's terrible. Well, that is very strange. Let's think about, yeah, I mean, surrounded by medical personnel. I mean, he's definitely going to get the best medical care. Thoughts and prayers to, I don't know who that was. That's, wow, that's, yeah, sorry, let me just mute. I don't want to have any of this on. Yeah, it was not Howard. It looks like it was a member of his staff. That's, man, that's terrible. Wow, I wasn't even paying attention. I was looking at this Jamie Dimon thing. Thoughts and prayers, whoever that was. That's hopefully he's gonna be okay. Looks like it was a member of his staff. Man. Well, I think given that maybe it's best we pause the stream in light of what I mean. Yeah, that's really unfortunate for that person. Hopefully he's gonna be okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. That's crazy. All right, we will be back later tonight with an interview, guys. Tune in tonight, 5:30 Eastern Time. We got Esoteric Catboy coming on, guys, tonight.